Hey, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. What's up?
I was just letting you know we're at top of the Cats Meow. Ride went great. Bike feels freaking solid and just very well balanced. And I can't wait to see what that fork does going down the trail. I think right now I've used, I put some more weight up in the front end, but right now I've used probably about a little less than half. So I think this should be perfect.
Okay, we'll see what happens.
All right, love you. I'll see you here in a minute.
I love you. Have fun.
All right, guys, here we go. Moment of truth. The Cats Meow first ride of the season on the M.2 Ridge Pro. Hell of a bike. Is it going to last? How fun will it be going down? Let's find out.
I mean, wow, this is bad. This is a whole new level of people right here.
You're going to need the elbow pad.
Wolf Tick Nation, thank you guys for tuning into once again another Wolf Tick Videos episode. On today's episode, we have got the long-awaited M.2 Ridge Pro. Just came out, $598, hydraulic brakes, air fork up front, QS 9-speed, 11 to 46. We've got all the spec episodes out on this, initial impressions, and we even did a deeper dive because this thing's tubeless compatible, all that, all right? But while it's still in stock form on today's episode, guys, we have got the real-time review on everybody's favorite test track. You guys know what it is. It's the Cats Meow, all right? So we're gonna do the once-over. We're gonna talk about the brakes, put those to a little bit of test, 180 rotors, both front and rear. We're gonna talk about this SR Suntour fork up front because it is an air fork, which is just, it's crazy for everything you get for the price. And the crazy thing, check it out. Zoom in right here. You got that? We've got a dropper on this thing. It's all stock, bone stock. Will she hold up? Will she last? How will I like it? It's a size small. You can get this thing all the way up to like a large or an extra large. We're fixing to find out, guys. So please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and let's get on the Cats Meow. All right, guys, here we go on the M2 Pro, the Ozark Trail, whole new mountain bike. Knee pads are down right now. We're just getting a warm up. We're gonna go over this bridge through Bearcat Pass. Kind of get these legs warmed up a little bit. Check out the waterfall over there. You guys see it? This is the first time on a bike this season. That's awesome. So super excited about it. We've got the Action 5 Pro, the DJI Action 5 Pro on the bar today. I know you can't see the mouth move, but we're gonna test it out. Not quite trustworthy yet to put it on the helmet. We do have the media mod on the GoPro, and we got the microphone switched to the back. I love that about the media mod. We're gonna head down here. Not too much talking about the bike just yet. We're gonna save that for getting the entire ride up to the Cats Meow and then of course down it and back. Then we'll do a little conclusion at the end. Oh, just trying to get warmed up. Been so long. It's an absolutely gorgeous day. We think it's about 55 degrees out. And perfect riding weather. A bunch of fans out here of Wolf Tick videos. So Wolf Tick Nation, thank you guys for all the support. A whole bunch of guys were coming up and a whole bunch of families out here riding today and saying, man, we love your guys' videos. We watch them all the time. It's like, well, thank you. And of course, everybody had to check out this bike. Okay, I think what I'm gonna have to do is take down some of that pressure. You know, we did that internal specs video while the getting all the specs of this bike. And I believe this thing was set to 100 PSI because we filled it back up to see the overall travel, which was over 120. It was 131. But check out that fork right now. We gotta mess with that rebound. Yeah, the rebound might be fine, but it's at 100 PSI. No good for me. I'm gonna probably put it at 70. I think that's a good sweet spot for this fork. Well, now that's 131 and we know that with the overall travel. Might just go with Might just go with about 75, but it's not bad. Tell you what, this bike needs a couple of adjustments inside the cockpit, but it is comfy. Very comfy bike so far. Let's do a couple of adjustments and then we'll go up the bee's knees and we'll get that ride out of the way.
Just the air fork?
Yeah. Gotta adjust the air fork, gotta put these knee pads on.
I figured it was that.
Yeah. I'm gonna get some situation going on with the cockpit here. It's a little uncomfortable, but nothing that we can't adjust.
He takes it, the lockout was on.
No, it was off. I've seen that. Anyway, I'm gonna adjust this real quick. I said what, 70? So I know the travel now.
70, 75.
Okay.
Somewhere in that range. I would lean towards 75, and if you find
That's what I was thinking, because we thought it was 120, but it's actually 130, so I think 75 might be okay. Okay, we're gonna go 71. All right, so we got 71 fixed on there, and I forgot this thing's got a dropper. That damn thing was uncomfortable on the hand. There's like no room to grip up here, but we're gonna go ahead and fix that. All right, now we're finally adjusted. Geez, that took about an hour, way too long. That's what I'm talking about. Had to get the brakes level, had to get the shifter, all that stuff level. We're good to go now. All right, I'm out of here. Love you. I'll see you in a little bit. All right, guys. Wow. That was about 30 minutes too long. It's just it's like having to adjust everything on this thing in the cockpit. Should have been done in the shop. I'm not complaining about that. What I'm complaining about is it's got the dropper, it's got the brakes, every nook and cranny. Every bolt is like sideways and this way and that way. In order to unscrew this, you have to move that and take this off, but we got situated. Okay, so the QS so far, remember we just had to do on the shift test, we had to do a little bit of finagling on the barrel adjuster, and it was good to go. So that was really nice. And now we're nice and set up, and actually very quick shifts on this bike, which is not surprising. Because we have had the QS before. I believe that came on the Axum FS. Or was it the Slalom? You guys let us know in the comments. Brakes are feeling good. 2-finger all day. The Tektro M285s, I believe, are on this bike. Big fan of those. We have those on the ledge. Some super good budget brakes with the actual Tektro 180 rotors. So we're going to lock this fork out. And right now I'm about halfway on the rebound with 70 PSI. Oh yeah. Dude, check out that derailleur and just how snappy and quick it shifts. Do I have another gear? Oh, I got the viewing window. I forgot about that. Okay. Heck yeah. Plenty of gears to go through on the cog set. 11 to 46 tooth is just about perfect. So now we got everything figured out with the cockpit. The only problem is the dropper. A little too low. I'm gonna have to raise it up. And that was one thing me and Wolfman were just talking about. The dropper lever is very hard to push. If you guys have this bike, let us know if you had the same issues. Berserker was talking about how something's wrapped up on the internals underneath the crank arms. Something to do with the derailleur. And I didn't see anything wrapped up weird that would be causing that. But it could just be the just having to get this thing worn in right, kind of like a fork. But this fork is in good working order. It's completely locked out up front, completely rigid. Let's open it up, test out some of these smalls, put a little bit of weight on the front end of this bike. Nothing crazy like here. My weight's forward. It's absorbing the smalls. Look at that. All right, the way that they've angled this bike, the geometry I should say, is so comfortable, and it really feels like that fork is doing its job so far. And we're gonna be testing out in the Cats Meow here pretty soon. We got our downhill in, but the angles are just great with this bike. Great looking bike. It feels excellent in the cockpit now, and these tires aren't doing a bad job of gripping either. I'm impressed with the group set. We'll see if we get any chain slap. They did give us a really nice looking chain stay protector, just in case we do get some chain slap, but I don't know. I have a feeling there's not gonna be I have a feeling there's gonna be a good amount of tension back there. Not a lot of slappage going on. Let's go ahead and get our Crank Bros multi-tool out. Let's raise this dropper up a little bit. So I have an inseam of 29 inches, and so far this bike feels perfect for me. I actually got to raise this guy up because she's too low. Let's go about right there. Let's see if that makes a big difference. And I don't have a Newton meter tool on me on the course, of course, but we've talked about the Exoform kind of has a problem whenever it comes to being too tight, and even when you're on the Newton meters that it recommends, and it just doesn't work properly because the amount of tension and friction that it causes. But let's see if she pops up like she's supposed to. Okay, see, super hard to push back there. Okay, it's good. It's just, that is, whenever she's locked down, hard to push, but it's easy as soon as it gets extended. That's weird. All right, let's continue. Oh yeah, much better on the dropper. Jeez, so much better. Let me give you guys a little look at that. Boom, nice and quick. It's actually a lot quicker than I thought it was gonna be in the shop. I mean, it didn't really seem that good in the shop, but look at that. All right, we're getting places. Okay, let's get this fork. Let's open her back up. 131 millimeters of travel on this fork. So it's listed to be 120, but they gave us a little bit extra. Man, isn't that a great thing? It's doing really good in the smalls. Let me push this compression ring down. Roots like this, not a hiccup, not an issue. And we're getting a lot more moving out of the front than I really feel. So that's always a good thing. It's soaking up some of that stuff. Like I said, halfway through the fast and slow on the rebound. Lockout worked good. The smalls, it feels good. Man, just the feel of this bike. I'm 5'5". I got little stubby legs. And you could be a smaller rider, I'm betting. And you know, it's listed for 5'1" to 5'5". Is that it? I could see that. This is the first 29er I think I've ever been on that suits me just perfect. Most of the time we get 27.5s, but a bike that's actually sized out for whatever spec of rider from Walmart. It's definitely the first one that feels this good. All right, so we're at sidecar here. Everything feels great. The group set I'm super impressed with. Will we get a little bit of chain sloppage on Cats Meow? We'll find out here pretty soon. My feet are sticking to the pedals, but we're just climbing at this point. Now we got some more climbing to do. I'm gonna get you guys a shot of these tires because the trail's in great condition today. There is some loose leafage on the trail, so we'll see what the grip looks. The dropper is plenty fast enough, and I'm stuck on how good the QS is doing right now. Man, that 11 to 46 tooth, I love it. Well, let's continue up this trail. Let's talk about these tires. All right. You know what's crazy is these tires are super gnarly. That's not what I was going to say, but I just wanted to mention these tires are nasty, and they do get plenty of grip. These little switchbacks coming up this hill, I want you guys to look at that rear tire, and I'm sure it's slinging some rocks because that Recon is just an absolute tractor tire. It is great, man. Really good. Now, these are just 2.4s. You know, we did talk about on our little in-depth episode, we did talk about a fatter tire, and we're both pretty confident with saying even with a small you can get up to a 2.6, but I think a really gnarly 2.5 will do us just fine, kind of like the one we showed in that episode. If you guys missed that one, we actually did a few different things, so make sure you guys go back and check it out. But the tires feel really good. I got them about 32 psi at the moment. What I was going to say feels really good with this bike is the balance of it, and we'll find out when we get some more air, but it doesn't seem like it's zapping my energy, especially now since I've got that dropper fixed where I'm getting good extension on the legs. The hollow bottom bracket, the crank set down there feels great. 165 millimeter crank arms would be a lot better. But I'm just trucking along, really enjoying this ride, and a lot of it's due to that air fork up front. It feels super stable. Got the tapered head tube, tapered steer tube, and then we've got that big old fat boost through axle up front. And really, I want to say, having that through axle up front and the rear 148 12 millimeter through axle, I think it really helps with making this bike feel planted and good and stable. This is a very stable feeling bike. That mixed with the 34 pounds and just how light it feels. You know, because 34 pounds for a rigid bike, you know, we kind of want to be in the 32, 31. I don't know about sub 30. It's hard to get to, especially when you start adding droppers and things. But Walmart is giving us heck of a bike, or Ozark Trail is giving us heck of a bike out of the box like this. This thing came ready to run, you know what I'm saying? I'd say the biggest upgrade we'd probably want to do, definitely not tires. These tires are just fine. We might get a flat, but they're great for right now on this loose stuff. But we will be wanting to get some pedals. It's a cheap upgrade. And really, I don't mind these grips. They're thin, they're double lock on. They feel good in the hand. No padding on the Fox Ranger gloves. I'm enjoying them. It feels 740 bars, I believe is what's on this thing. Makes me feel planted. Not too wide. This bike does feel very snappy. I'm looking forward to getting on the Cats Meow and seeing what that's all about. Oh, I'm gonna have this fork and lockout right now because it feels so good. Now she's in lockout, and again she goes right to work. Man, I am impressed big time. First ride of the season. What a bike to start it out on. If you haven't already, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, turn those notifications on. If this thing lasts the Cats Meow, we gotta take it on the Black Diamond. Freaking shifter is snappy, son. It is snappy. It's gonna be a fast bike. Oh man, I can't believe that this bike is $598. You know, we paid $598 or $698. I think it was $598 for the Axum FS. Now it's a full suspension bike, but I think we even paid close with the Axum DP was $598, I believe. And that bike came with a dropper. That was the big thing with that bike. 2.6-inch tires, 1x, tapered bottom bracket. A lot of weight on that bike. We've done a whole bunch of that thing too. But for a bike to have come this far and come with hydraulic brakes, man, is insane. All right, here we are at the Cats Meow, everybody's favorite test track. Okay, dude, I cannot wait to take this thing down the Cats Meow. If you guys are excited about it, hit that like button. Let's find out. All right, fork is open. Compression ring is all the way down. 131 millimeters of travel. Seat post, you know what we gotta do on this thing. Let's drop this seat post because standing room only. Wolfstick Nation, that's what we've been waiting for. Okay, let's do this. Let's start shifting with the cues. Okay, all right, yeah, we've used about halfway of the travel up here, and I think 70 PSI is gonna be perfect. All right, so let me check this front wheel. Very responsive in the front end. At a higher rate of speed with the big 29er wheels, it's not as balanced. Surprisingly, it's not as balanced as it felt going at a slower rate. Yeah, really fast wheel speed here. Okay, now at fork right now, it felt like it did not have enough preload getting off the lip of that jump. Huh. It kind of fell flat in its face a little bit. That could be due to pressure, or it could be due to rebound. I'm guessing rebound. I'm hoping rebound. A little bit more balance there. One, a little bit of mud. And we've got big sister Brenda. Step up, yes. Okay, we used some travel. We're gonna stop this thing up here and we're gonna take a look at that fork, and we're gonna have to speed that rebound up. Wow, that was quick. That right there was such a fast run on the beginning portion. If you guys are familiar with this trail, you've seen a lot of other bikes on this trail, and that thing, for the Realtime review, had to be pretty close to a record. That shit was quick. All right, so we've used up, I'd say, a little bit more than 3/4, probably 80%. Now the stroke was very smooth, but we're having problems with the rebound because it just felt like it came down here, fell flat in its face, and then it said, oh, okay, well, I'm still here. So luckily it had more to give and it didn't bomb out completely, but let's speed this rebound up. No clicks on the rebound. That's a big downside because I don't know where I'm at. It's a lot poppier now. I would say I've gone maybe 2 churns there. All right, so we're gonna put that compression ring back down and let's continue. A lot of fun so far. It just doesn't feel balanced. It feels like there's such, that momentum is keeping up really high. Momentum's kind of steering me straight, if that makes any sense. Spot between the trees, okay. A lot more poppier on the fork now. I gotta keep my eyes on the road here. 29ers, they just carry you through. And I think a lot of that constant revolutions of the tires, oof, pedals, need some pedals, are just keeping me on a 1 streak line instead of being able to really finagle this bike at the moment. I'm 1 finger braking tabletop. Yeah, okay, brakes are working good. That fork rebound is set exactly where it needs to be now. The front end feels playful at a low rate of speed, guys, but at a high rate of speed like this, it feels a little like it's lagging. Could that be because of the amount of slack in the front end? The fork, I don't know. It's just, maybe it's just 29er, you know, as opposed to a 27.5. A lot more rolling resistance you can feel, but then again, it carries that speed really well. Okay, so let's take a look at the amount of travel that we used. And the amount of travel we used, again, is like 80% faster rebound. That completely fixed the problem, because on that big tabletop up there, I believe it would have completely flattened this guy out, but it being so poppy, which was a good thing, actually kept me from bottoming out. So I think 70 PSI is perfect on here. I'm about 145 pounds, maybe 150. The bike, again, it did feel balanced at a lower rate of speed, which sounds weird. And it's kind of hard to explain. At a high rate of speed, it kind of sticks with whatever position you go to take off. If I go to take off here and maybe the back end's out a little bit, it kind of sticks and it just wants keeping a straight line. So it's not as playful as I thought it was going to be. Does that have to do with the tires being 29er? It's just a weird feeling for me. The back end, I was really unable to really whip it around, and maybe that's because the constant high speed mixed with trying to keep it playful at the same time. I don't know, I'm gonna have to rewatch some footage because I just got off this thing, okay? You guys were the first to see it, and you guys got all the angles, so that's that. The brakes do feel pretty good. They are actually a little stiff, which I'm shocked with. It feels like the pads really haven't broken in yet. And honestly, I didn't even set these pads up yet. I didn't even break them in. So that's probably an issue with the pads. The rotors, not loud at all, nothing squeaking. So I think the pads are just going to be, I forget the word. It's just going to take a little bit to actually break those guys in. The group set was great so far. Let's go back up to the truck. Let's talk to Wolfman. We'll do the conclusion. Hell of a ride on this bike. There's some weird things about it. I don't know how to explain it. All right, guys, just got done with the M.2 Pro. Let me tell you something. This is hell of a bike. A lot of fun. Everything played well together. We'll talk about some of the negatives here in a second, but some of the positives, like I am just flabbergasted over the Qs. The QS.
The Qs is good. Man,
the gearing is great. There was no chain slap. I've even forgot, I was telling, I went for there's gonna be chain slap. We have that big chain stay protector. And I just completely forgot to talk about it because the bike is so silent. All right, so that's a great thing there. It did me well on the climbs. The fork was really good. I actually forgot about setting the rebound proper because I needed to be sped up a little bit. It did great on the smalls, but as soon as I started hitting some of the bigger ones on the Cats Meow, my little stopping point I always stop at, I had to speed that rebound up because it kind of felt like it was just like falling flat on its face. But as soon as I sped it up, we were good. The whole time with 70 PSI, I used 80% of the travel. And that's even with the spot between the trees.
I told you the progression on that fork feels really good.
Yeah, and with that rebound and the mixture in there, it's set perfect right now for like the Cats Meow or something maybe a little bit more aggressive. Really fun trail. The other positive is I love having a dropper. This bike actually came with a dropper, is a huge deal. Now, the word I forgot up there was bed. We forgot to bed these brakes in, and they were slowing me down. I was actually doing one finger for a while. They were slowing me down, but they were just like, you had to put a lot of pressure on them, but they were super quiet. I think those getting actually bedded in a little bit more worn in. You could tell these rotors definitely had some brand newness on them, okay? So you gotta work on that. The other thing that's weird is I think I found out exactly what it was. I was talking, this bike feels very playful on the small stuff. So the climbs, it's very playful. You can put it wherever it needs to go. But when it came to at a high rate of speed going down to Cats Meow, it felt like it was a dart, like it just wanted to dart off. It didn't feel playful. I couldn't really whip the tail end around, and I couldn't be too playful with it. I think it's because in my brain, this bike is so small, the frame, the standover is great. It fits me super good. In my head, I'm thinking it's a 27.5 and I can play with it. But in all actuality, it's a damn 29er, and this thing has some freaking wheel speed and that momentum. Everything just pulls you. So that's gonna take some getting used to. But all in all, super fun bike. The grips were great. The 740 bars, that's actually a really nice width to go with a 29er. Felt nice and stable. And I think a lot of stability not only had to do with the wide bars, but also the through axle boost in the front and the boost in the rear. This thing felt very planted the entire time. It's a very fast, very well balanced bike, and I just enjoyed the crap out of it. Upgrades out of the gates that you would need to do on this thing. If you're somebody that's got little girl hands, you might want to get a thicker grip because these grips are definitely thin. I'm a thin grip man because I've got big old man mittens over here. All right, but if you
have small hands.
If you got gentle hands, you might want to get a fatter grip. Other thing this thing's going to need right out of the gate is going to be some pedals. Okay, the pedals in this thing, they're plastic. My feet were slipping a lot of the time on the climbs. It wasn't a bad deal at all. I'd say they completely nailed it on this bike. Something that's the last thing I'm gonna say it's a big positive is these tires, the Recons, the Maxxis Recons. Dude, those things absolutely tore it up out there. Not once, tire test area, tabletop, not once did I start to get a little sketchy with them. Even the climbs, there was no slippage whatsoever. But they absolutely just killed it. They killed it on this bike. I'm in love with this thing. Just gonna have to get used to it being a 29er, not a 27.5 like it feels like.
Somebody mentioned in the comments that it's probably gonna have a ton of flex. Some of the naysayers said it's gonna have a ton of flex. It's gonna be crap design and frame and all that stuff. Did you experience any of that?
No flex. I would say the biggest thing that I experienced, and it had to do with the fork, was the rebound. It was just a little bit slower, so it didn't rebound and push up as fast.
But
so
once you adjusted it.
Once I adjusted it, was fine, but that was probably the biggest thing. Because I was going, is it the amount of slack is why it doesn't feel, you know, great up front with the angles and things like that? But I think it's just gonna take a little bit of getting used to. But no, I didn't experience any flex or any weirdness as far as the frame or any of the components went. Everything was well put together and everything played well together. This bike is a lot of fun, and I can't wait to, I'm thinking if we do go tubeless on this thing with the tubeless compatible wheels and they're boost already, there's no need to buy a new wheel set, just tubeless tires and a tubeless rim tape and some what do you call that? Some
sealant.
Some sealant. I would like to see what it feels like then, actually being able to lighten up the rear and front and take those tubes out there. I think that might help with some of the
You don't think those
speed.
tires are tubeless compatible?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
I don't think they are. They could be. If you guys know anything in the comments, let us know. But man, it felt excellent out there. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the episode. I enjoyed it. First ride of the season, such a good bike to break it in on. And hopefully you guys appreciate the episode. Please hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, turn those notifications on. You know, get your hands on this thing before it's gone. We've got the new riding season coming up. I'm sure these things are going to be going quick. Check out the affiliate links in the description below. Remember, we pay for this thing with our own money if you guys would like to. Buying us a cup of coffee is always appreciated. That'd be awesome. All right?
Not required, but appreciated.
But appreciated. All right, guys. We will see you on the next episode. Appreciate you watching. I've got another bike to ride.
Yeah.